Have you ever gotten a strong gut feeling only to immediately second guess yourself and ask, wait, did I just make that up? Today on Soul Signals, we are tackling the self doubt that comes with trusting your intuition. We're sharing our wildest stories of trusting our gut, from a sketchy Craigslist meetup to a literal tiger shark encounter. Think Jaws, so scary, to an unbelievable near death car crash. Plus, we discuss why your personal safety is never worth sacrificing just to be the nice person. If you're ready to stop second guessing yourself, finally step into your authentic power, make sure to join the waitlist for the Soul Alignment Collective down in the show notes. And without further ado, enjoy the show. Welcome to Soul Signals. I'm your host, Melissa Kincaid, evidential psychic medium, joined by my co-hosts Callie and Michele. No fluff, no filters, just real conversations about intuition, grief, and finally becoming who you're meant to be. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soul Signals. I am Melissa Kincaid, your host and residential evidential psychic medium, joined with my wonderful co-host, Michele, who is we would say an aspiring death doula.
Yes.
And also wonderful Callie, who's with us, and she is a law of attraction expert.
Working
On it.
Yeah.
Maybe a well-lived
law of attraction.
Practitioner. There we go. Yeah.
And wedding planner.
And wedding planner. And
it's about the same.
Yeah. And we are so, trust me, we'll get this.
We're all grounded in corporate America here.
Yeah.
And have these aspiring...
law of attraction, intuition, all this stuff. And so thank you so much for joining with us today. Today, we are going to be talking about understanding and believing and trusting our own intuitive hits, our own signs that come to us. In episode 4, we talked about anxiety versus intuition. Episode 5, we talked about signs and symbols from our loved ones in spirit. And this episode is really kind of bringing us to, how do we trust that? How do we trust the information that's coming to us? How do we make sure that that is something that's aligned with who we are? And we did talk about it a little bit. We're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper into these concepts and be able to allow us to have a really good conversation about it, because we're all kind of figuring this out on our own too. Even as somebody who is trained as a psychic medium, I still have moments of, did I make that up? Is that real? Is that really my intuition? Is that really my psychic intuitive faculties that are coming through? Because I'm human and I love my logical linear life. And so we all have a different relationship with this and kind of where we're at and kind of where we're going. So I do want to introduce this with a little bit of the thought or the so what of, we live in a hyper logical corporate driven society that teaches us to dismiss our own lived experiences as just coincidence. Because I don't know about you guys, but in corporate America, for sure, you get the whole, you got to leave your emotions at the door kind of thing. Like, nobody wants to hear about people's emotions and all of that. But guess what? We're emotional creatures. That's all we're ever experiencing life in. But just to know that this self-gaslighting destroys our self-trust, making us second guess not just spiritual signs, but our business decisions and relationships too, which is so true, right? And we talked about that a little bit in episode 4 of dismissing the intuitive hits when we're being told those things, unless they're super loud, you're gonna die if you don't do this. Even that, people dismiss those, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious, let's see, how do I want to start this? So, Michele, what are some of the things that you have experienced from signs and symbols and just things that intuitive hits that kind of come to your life? What does that mean to you? How do you kind of when I say that, what does that mean to you?
To me, that just says intuition. Mm-hmm. What's your intuition?
Mm-hmm. I think another way to say that too is gut instinct, because I think people are like, what the hell is intuition? Gut instinct, right?
Yeah, it's gut instinct. Yeah, I'll take gut instinct. Mm-hmm. I mean, listening to your gut. What is your body telling you? Mm-hmm. Using your I feel like statements.
Mm-hmm. So, Michele, do you have an example of when you're like, oh my God, did I make that up?
I have so many of those in my life. I mean, what do you want to know? Do you want to know, should we go near death? Do you want to do near death?
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's a really good way to illustrate it. Yeah. Okay, go.
Well, Okay, a good one is so I did a lot of years in therapy, like once a week for 5 years. Like a lot of therapy, had just needed it in my life. Eldest daughter syndrome. We'll just leave it there. So I, we've talked about empathy and intuitiveness and whatnot. And so I was in a stage of my life where I was feeling really overwhelmed with the feelings that I was getting from the world, from everywhere I went. And I was in a very people-facing job, and it was just too much. I couldn't take it all in. And like to the point where I wouldn't go to the grocery store. This is before you could have your groceries delivered to your car or anything else. Like I couldn't even go to the grocery store because I didn't want to see people I knew, because I could not have any more conversations. So working with my therapist through it. It wasn't anxiety. It was just emotional exhaustion.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about how to put up these invisible walls to make yourself invisible, to deflect people, to really get yourself in that frame of mind. And so we had this really powerful therapy session. Then after that, I got in my car, and this is before like telemedicine where you could do it just sitting in your living room. Got in my car, and I was driving to see a client. And I'm reflecting on this very powerful therapy session that I had about being invisible and what that means and what that looks like. And I'm driving, and I'm at this crazy intersection in South Seattle, the Soto area. And I'm at a red light, and everybody stopped. I'm just sitting there. Light turns green. I slowly start going. And the next thing I know, I'm doing 360s in the middle of the intersection in my SUV.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay. I had just gotten hit by a fucking garbage truck going 55 miles an hour that ran a red light.
Holy.
Wow.
I can't make that up. I can't make that up.
No.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is so I get hit from the side. First thing I do is I reach for my legs. I'm like, my legs have got to be gone.
Wow.
And the garbage truck had hit me at an angle where it peeled the whole front. It looked like a peeled banana, like how hard it hit me. It just peeled off the whole front end of my car. The transmission was like in the middle of the intersection. Like it was insane. And it was like I had this little protective box around me of like I was invisible. Like I wasn't there. And I got out of the car.
You like walked out of the car.
Walked out of the car. I mean, I had hit my head on the window because he hit me so hard because I got whiplash from the side, and I torn my shoulder labrum because that hit was so violent.
Holding
the steering wheel.
Yeah.
But the cloak of invisibility to Harry Potter, right?
Yeah,
like was there. Like it was like
He didn't even see you.
he didn't even see me. He saw my car, but he didn't see me, and I wasn't part of the equation. I don't know. There you go.
I think that's really interesting.
I mean,
to like,
I got another one, but I'll just drop that one.
You know, what's interesting. We talked last episode about signs and symbols about you set an intention and a focus and it happens. I think that's true of everything we do too.
Yeah.
You were setting a very strong intention about being invisible.
Yeah.
And you were invisible in that moment. And some people might say, oh, so you're saying that Michele caused that accident? I'm like, well, maybe.
Maybe it was danger. Like I made myself invisible so he didn't see my entire car.
But the thing is your invisibility also came with it this deep intention for safety.
Yeah.
So not only were you invisible, but you were safe. You didn't. You kept your legs. Yep. And just as a side note,
I just got goosebumps.
I know. just as a side note, people are probably hearing a little rumbling in the background. We've got my dog Tina is next to us. For those of you who can't see, and she is snoring up a storm. So
she's enjoying
please
this moment.
Just know that this is a moment for her, and if that calms you, please take that. So I think that that's something to think about. That I fully believe that we create our own reality.
Yeah.
Lock, stock, and barrel. Right. Like there's no if, ands, or buts for it for me. And not everybody believes that. Like the skeptics, I was talking to my sister over the weekend. We went to New York and we had a wonderful time together. And we were just talking about reality in itself and talking about, from my perspective, that I believe that we create our own reality. And she does not believe that. She believes in that everybody has an objective truth that we all kind of work towards. And I'm talking to her as we see what it is that we intend to see. Because again, I know that we're aware of and have access to all of the information, and our conscious mind cannot handle that. And so we see what it is that we intend to see. And I think it's so fascinating that there are people who don't understand that. But I live in the law of attraction world. I live in the quantum field. I live in that space. I'm like, oh, what's that? And one thing that, when you're worried so much about whether or not you make stuff up, you kind of are, because it's our reality, right? And I think that that's an interesting thing of, I read this book called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it is around the psychologist philosopher called Alfred Adler, and he was around Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, and he just didn't become as popular as them because he didn't have money, and there's a lot of controversy around it, but I really encourage people to read it. And one of the things that he talks about is teleology, and I want to kind of frame a little bit more of this concept of teleology is the idea that all human behavior and thought is goal-oriented and purposeful, so intention. Adler taught that there is no such thing as an objective universal reality. There is only the meaning we choose to assign to the experiences to help us move forward. I also think it's about the experiences that are the meaning we assign to things to have meaning. I don't think that we can live in this life without having something have a meaning to it. And so we also have to have a certain set of reality. So when we tap into the quantum, I think there's probably two things that are happening. Is the intention that we set that has us being able to have the thing that we're expecting. So your example is a great example, Michele, of I wanted to be invisible, but I also super wanted to be safe.
Yeah.
And you couldn't. And I also wonder too, and you may not remember this at all or whatever. Do you feel that during that time of your life, you were really looking for a deeper meaning?
Oh,
and purpose?
Absolutely. I was definitely in that, I want to say mid 30s. Like, I can't believe this is where I'm at. Is this all there is point of my life? And I was going through this phase of pushing myself farther. Like, I just done the summer before all these sprint triathlons. Now I'm like, I'm all in on an Ironman. Like, I'm starting to train for it. I was considering, going to law school. Like, I was in this space of making big decisions because I wanted to feel more in life. Because I wasn't content. Like, I knew something was missing and I didn't know what that something was.
Yeah.
And like a lot of us, like, we might not ever know. I mean, now I kind of know what that is, but now I'm an old lady. So a little wiser.
so to me, I think that's fascinating, because if you add that very strong intention alongside this experience, you were able to have this experience that showed a deeper meaning to what has happened, something that is outside of ourselves or bigger than ourselves,
yeah.
right? And so if you look at it from that way, from law of attraction, from Alfred Adler, that you wanted and desired and created this experience to get that meaning for you.
Oh, and the meaning that came, okay, great. I was in this car accident. I almost died. But what happened for the next 2.5 years after that was where all the learning came from.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Like, the learning of, you guys, I hit my head. Like, I would go to the grocery store and couldn't remember where I parked my fucking car. Like, I couldn't tell you the sense of direction. I couldn't go to work because I couldn't handle the sound of the ringing phones. I didn't dream for a year.
Wow.
Because my brain was so on fire. My nervous system was so fired up from how hard my bell got rung, you know? So it's all that learning, but it was also the pushing through all of it, advocating for myself, finding the resources I needed to be able to heal. Like, statistically, I should weigh 400 pounds, be addicted to pain pills, and be on disability.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm not. I'm thriving, athletic, traveled the world, done all these crazy things because I wasn't going to buy into that, So that was the lesson that came out of it. Like, it framed who I am as a woman.
Yeah.
It was really intense.
And I think, this whole episode's about, like, did I make that up? Right. And I think that there's something so powerful about having meaning and understanding about the intentions we set and how we create our lives and bring our reality to fruition. I'm curious, Callie, from you, given that you have a law of attraction coach and all of those things, how for you have you, how has your experiences been of like, oh God, did I just make that shit up, versus just leaning into it and accepting it? And how has that changed the way that you experience your life?
Okay, well, oh my gosh.
That was a big snore.
She's like, yes, let's hear about this more. Let's hear about it. Well, it's funny that you, since like you were talking about your sorry, and I'm going to totally segue and I'll come back.
No, it's fine.
But
yeah,
because
please.
it reminded me of this. So about it must have been 14 years ago. And I had Ben, my son, he's 15. And I had him in the baby Bjorn, except it was cargo baby, whatever. And I went to this place to go buy a set of color like swatches because I wanted to be able in the weddings. I was like, I need these swatches. Something random. It must have been Craigslist or whatever. And it was this Craigslist find. And I go to this like warehouse and then I'm in this like all the stuff is in this trailer of this guy. And so I walk in, I have Ben in the baby Bjorn thing or whatever. And we go into this like essentially a trailer to go search for this item that I'm going. And I remember getting into the trailer and being like, nope, get me the fuck out of here. Like and the guy was saying, and I was like, I gotta go. I can't, I gotta go. And it was like this like intuitive nudge from within that I was like, nope. And I remember like leaving and being like my whole system was like I felt like my whole body and everything just say, get out, get out, get out. I still don't know to this day whether anything would have happened or not happened or whatever. But it's not worth finding out. But it was one of those moments that I was like, and so like still to this day, I'm like, did I make that up? But I didn't. Like, and I know
you have to know that you didn't.
I have to know that I didn't. And it was so interesting. So anyway, that was totally off topic. But when you were talking about your thing, and I was like, I remember there was very few moments that I was like, nope. And there was no real danger, physical
that you were aware
that
of.
I was aware of. But like the guy and the experience, and I was like, I got to get out of here. And I like literally was like, oh, my husband's calling. I got to go. And I like literally just bailed.
You bring up the really good point on, did I make this up, is the desire for wanting something and that balance between wanting something, the experience or an item, and that intuition nudge that says yes or no, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think in some of the other episodes, we've heard me talk about my spearfishing adventures. And like this one day, I'll say it, he's a diver that was probably pretty reckless. And, you're always hungry for boat time, getting out in the water, diving partners, all of it. Like you just want to do as much as you can. And so he invited me to come out with him. Captain, great. We're out at these like really cool dive spots. The water wasn't that great, but he just always made me nervous. Like he didn't follow the rules that like my two core diving partner and I followed by that kept each other safe, kept all of us safe, And I knew I was walking that edge, that like, oh God, I don't know about this. So they dropped me at one location. He was over another location. You're really supposed to be together and going back and forth. But, we're in the Wild West here. And I let myself do it because I wanted the time in the water. I wanted the experience. Maybe I wanted to like be one of the guys. I don't know. I knew I was wrong, but I did it anyways. Last dive of the day. I dive down. It's murky water, you guys. And I'm like, God damn it. And there's nothing down here. And I'm down probably 60 feet or so. Like free diving, just for readers. Like there's no tank. Like I don't have a tank. I have a snorkel. That's it. I'm holding my breath. I have this big spear gun. And I'm coming up the water. I'm coming slowly up. And I see a shadow. A big shadow. And I was like, oh, look, it's a whale. Because that's what I'm used to seeing all the time underwater. It's like the whales, swim by. Then it kind of turned and I saw the tail. It was like,
oh my God, I would never.
It was like a 10-foot tiger shark. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, okay, calm, just because I can't go up any faster than I'm going. And I was like, I am never diving again by myself without my dive buddy. I knew I shouldn't. I can't make this shit up. There's a tiger shark 5 feet away from me.
Oh my God. And those are the ones that if you're going to get attacked by a shark,
They're
it's
aggressive.
usually the tiger sharks, right?
Tiger shark, bull shark.
Yeah.
What, man?
Doesn't
Shark.
matter. It's a shark.
Well, there's some sharks that are totally docile, but yeah, it's more an aggressive shark, you know. And like, I get in the boat, and I just was like, I'm done. I put get me out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I just saw that tiger shark. Like, oh yeah, he lives here. He's cool. He's cool. What do you mean?
Cool.
He lives here. He's used to us. I'm like, no, he's an
just
apex predator that's
yeah.
like
No.
if he's hungry.
Yeah.
And feeling lazy, he's gonna eat me.
Yeah.
Like
It's
come
like,
on, man.
He's cool as long as we sacrifice somebody to
It's
him
fine.
once a week.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So, but like to your point, it's like intuition. I can't make this up. It's like that boundary of,
Yeah.
do I really want something? And being able to separate your intuition on what is safe and what is right. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, especially like we talk about corporate America and making decisions.
yeah.
We know that these CEOs making these horrible decisions that hurt
100%,
people
yeah.
are not in line with their spirituality and their
No.
core belief systems. But
No, they're not.
you know, it's greed, it's the prestige,
Or
it's
they're
ego.
being pressured to
They're
do
being
that.
pressured
Yeah.
to, or it's their $20 million bonus that's on the
Yes.
line.
Yep. Yep.
Like all of these things. But we experience it on little micro levels every single day.
Yeah, we do.
Like you wanted
It was a color swatch.
You wanted a color swatch. You know, like
Yeah.
was your personal safety and the safety of your son worth a $25 color swatch that maybe would have taken you a whole day of running around trying to find all the different colors, and this guy just happened to have one? Or my personal safety, spearfishing and
Yeah.
getting a big fish and having a cool Instagram picture. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and I think I think the thing that kind of made me go, when you told
Yeah.
that story, Callie, is, you know, one of the things that I want to get across from people in this episode of did I make this stuff up is like, number one, no.
No.
But I think that we won't always get the validation of that. Like
True.
you didn't get the validation
Still,
of that.
yeah.
And so you're constantly thinking, did I make that up? And I think for the safety thing of human beings, what comes through my mind is, are my biases making me think that? Are they really just good people that just look a little screwy, you know, or say weird things or whatever? Am I going? And I tend to, again, override my intuition to say, no, it's going to be okay. My husband does that sometimes too, in an effort to be kind. We had this, and again, we have no reason to believe that it could have been worse later, but one time my husband was taking a shower and somebody knocked on our door, and I open up the door and there's this homeless guy, and he's got a Tesla key card, which I didn't even know Teslas opened up with a card. I didn't know that. He's like, is this yours? And I'm like, do I have a Tesla? No. And he's like, okay. And then he left, and he chatted with me for a little bit, and he left. And then he came back 2 weeks later. And my husband opened the door this time. And the guy was like, oh, basically like, is that lady here or whatever? And my husband, and I'm hiding at this point because I don't like strangers in general. And my husband's like, no, I'm here. And the guy was like, well, I'm really hungry. And my husband, bless him, invited him into the house, made him a meal, gave him some shoes that he wasn't using, and a big jar of change. And I knew that he was coming back because he thought I lived in that house by myself. And it was just a little bit kind of like, and I told my husband that, and he's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. Guy came back again like 3 weeks later. And my husband had to tell him, like, you need to go, right? Like, you can't come in. And I love that my husband is so kind and he wants to do kind things. But sometimes you got to think about your intuition. And I asked him, I was like, well, did you think? And he's like, well, no, but like, I just wanted to help him. I was like, God bless you. It's one of the reasons I love my husband very much. But my husband also gives a lot of people the benefit of the doubt that he probably shouldn't do, right? So I'm always the one going, that person's going to screw you over. And then he's like, it's fine. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And guess who ends up being, now he listens to me.
Yeah.
But I think one thing for the people listening to this to know that sometimes you're not going to get the final verdict. Sometimes you're
Right.
not going to hear that this person was good or bad or whatever. And
Or that the shark was cool.
or that
Right.
the shark was
Yeah.
cool. Exactly.
He's
Exactly.
cool. He lives
Like
there.
you
Yeah.
just don't
He lives
know.
there.
And so it's like, is it worth your safety?
Right. And
Right?
sometimes in that, just taking that and be like, okay, like override the logic and just go with the gut, and then just be like, okay, I don't know why. I don't have any real, like,
Yep.
there's nothing there that's going to give that to me, but like going with your gut. And I think like too, like if there's that whole, I mean, at least my coach, she always says, she's like, if you lead your life with your gut, you're going to lead the life that you're supposed to lead.
Yep.
Good, bad, and different. Like we're going to have experiences that are going to teach us and all of those things. But if you lead, and I think like Esther Hicks and it's like going downstream,
Yes. Yeah.
constantly
Going with the flow.
going
Yeah.
with flow, going downstream. And by the way, side note, fluorite is
Fluoride?
fluoride. I should know this. I have plenty of crystals, but that one is meant to, it's called in to go with the flow.
Oh,
Fluoride,
yeah.
flow, and I think the Latin term or whatever. More Than Rocks, my like sweet
Yeah, yeah.
little crystal shop. She sent out an email yesterday. I was like, oh, that's really good. I was like, I should know about that. But I like, it makes you remember like flow doesn't also, that also means leading with those intentions, leading
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
pieces, and being like, not just like, oh, whatever, it's cool, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, great. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's also telling you, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like, get out. Does that feel
Yeah.
like it? Great. Your downstream is get out, not be nice and
Yeah.
cook meals too.
Like, I think what it boils down to is I think one of the things that I would want you to people to walk away from this conversation, that one piece is sometimes your safety is not worth appearing to be the good person.
Right.
Right. And so
Yeah.
just know that, like, it's okay to be like, you know what? A homeless guy probably isn't a safe person to have in my house. Did anything happen to us? No. But we also don't need to be inviting them into the house, right? Like, it is okay to
Well,
not
and
be.
it's not just, I mean, it's not just physical safety, it's psychological safety.
Psychological,
Like,
yes.
At the beginning, I was talking about how I was overwhelmed by other people's feelings.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
totally.
needed mechanisms to keep my peace safe. Like,
Yeah.
and how I felt like I couldn't carry the world. I needed to learn how to protect myself from that. And boy, did that lead me down a different path.
So
But-
here's what I'll say as we kind of start wrapping up this conversation, because I do think that the cautionary tale, I was thinking how I want to wrap up this conversation. Part of me was thinking, whatever intention or meaning you put to something is exactly what it is, right? What you want is what you get. One of the things that I do want to caution people, sometimes we do make it up. Okay. Sometimes we do take something a little too far. Sometimes we attribute meaning to something that is not there. Sometimes we have a little bit of mental health crises that makes us see things that aren't there. Remember in the last episode, in episode 5 about signs and symbols, and I also talked about this, I think, a little bit in episode 4 or something. Just know that always go for the practical reason stuff first. And I just worry about the person who's borderline, maybe dealing with some psychosis that
Yeah,
are
for
going to
sure.
listen to this and give them permission to like make shit up. Just know that sometimes you're making shit up. Sometimes you have psychosis. Sometimes you're on a little too many drugs. So just
Sometimes you're hormonal and you're going through menopause and things.
sometimes
that happens too.
Yeah,
That happens
so
too.
You smell weird things.
yeah, like just know that we do want to layer in some level of practicality to
Yes.
these things
Yeah.
as well, because we can go a little bit too nutty pants on
Yeah.
things. And again, send us a message.
Yeah.
Right? Send us a message privately is great. We will answer those as well, but put comments in the section. Like if you're like, is this real? Is this not real? And also, there's therapy too,
Yeah.
So I just as the cautionary tale, the PSA of
That is a good cautionary tale. Like,
Yeah.
So after my car accident, I go back to my therapist. She's like, well, I think we need to work on when we need to be invisible.
yes.
Yeah.
Driving a car is not a good time to be invisible.
Right.
Michele.
Right.
Let's not do that ever again.
Yeah.
But how powerful are you? Hello.
I know.
I-
Well,
I-
I mean,
maybe,
that's
right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things of balancing I want everybody to understand and pull in and accept the power that we have, while also not turning it into a pathology, psychosis kind of situation.
Yeah.
So it is a balance, but we're not doctors. We're not prescribing nobody nothing other than listen to your intuition, know that it is real. You are not making this stuff up most of the time.
Common sense.
Common sense
There
is
is a role.
important. Boy, let me tell you, common sense ain't common anymore. I think everybody's said that for a million years. But
Yeah, that's true.
So is there anything else you guys want to add to this topic? Okay. Well, if anybody has any comments or questions, again, please put those in the comment section. Send us messages. We love to hear from you. And it helps us have a deeper understanding of our own paths as well. I think there's some beautiful, wonderful, miraculous stories of people having these experiences. And please share it with the community, because we really want to create a really deep and meaningful community as well. So if this episode resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, that helps us out a ton to build a community, and you be part of building this community as well. So thank you so much for being with us, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
That's the signal for today. If it landed, subscribe and share to keep the frequency high. Vision, vibration, voice.